Welcome back, folks. We had the Dow finish up 7, NASDAQ down 3, S&Ps were flat, and we've got many calls on the air, folks, about this company. It trades in New York as SAND. It trades in Toronto as SSL. It's Sandstorm Gold, and Sandstorm Gold, folks, is a gold streaming company. We have the President and CEO, Chairman Nolan Watson. Nolan, we want to welcome you to TFNN.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate it. So, if you can walk the listeners through exactly, what you do at Sandstorm Gold, and what type of properties you have, and how you plan to basically beef up the bottom line.
Happy to do that. I guess prior to Sandstorm and the streaming model, when people were investing in gold, their really only choice was invest in gold in a vault, i.e. through an ETF, or put it in a safety deposit box, or buy the shares of a gold mining company. And gold mining companies have a history of not having good returns because of cost inflation. And so Sandstorm came along, and what we do is something in between that allows you to have a lot lower risk, but it also allows you to profit from the upside. So we go and we give mining companies money to go build their mines. And what we get back is a contract, and we call it a stream contract. And it basically says that we get to purchase a certain percentage of production from the mine for the entire life of the mine. And the key there is the entire life of the mine, because the average gold mine runs almost 3.5 times longer before it shuts down than people think it's going to run when they first build it. They just continue to find more and more. So for making that one payment, we get more and more gold that we buy, and we buy it at a fixed price. So most of our contracts average around $400 an ounce. So today, we're buying gold at $400 an ounce, and we're selling it at spot, which is over $1,600 an ounce, and the difference is just our free cash flow that we use to go buy more contracts. And when you're financing, because you're actually financing companies, so out of the companies that the gold companies that you finance, many of these exploration companies, are they production companies? How does this work? So the companies that we finance are almost exclusively companies that have spent years and years and years working on their property, getting the technical information ready, planning to build a mine and permitting the mine. And when they're ready to go and they say, we've got everything done, we just need the money to go build it, that's where Sandstorm comes in, and we get a piece of the pie as they go and build their assets. So we've done now approximately 12 deals. We've got mines all throughout Canada and the United States, Mexico, Brazil, so on and so forth, and we're continuing to expand around the globe. And what is the, we actually have these mines up right now for the TV audience as we're doing this. What, out of these mines that we're looking at right now, which one excites you the most? The one that excites me the most is Luna Gold's Aurizona mine. That's in Brazil. Okay. That's an asset we did a deal on, I guess, 4 years ago. When we did that transaction, we negotiated the right to purchase 17% of what they produce for $400 an ounce. And at the time, they had about 1 million ounces in the ground. Okay. Today, they have just shy of 4 million ounces, and they're continuing to drill it, and it continues to expand, and they're continuing to expand their production. So we already see 4 times more ounces of gold in the ground than the day we did the deal, and it's continuing to grow. So now, I think we're going to do well. Yeah, I was reading some of these contracts. When you do this deal, the companies have a right to buy back so much, right? So it's kind of interesting, right? You hope that they expand it, and then whether it's it's like, okay, are they going to buy back half of it, or the finance is not enough there, and then they got to let it go, right? It's kind of an interesting situation you're in sometimes, right? We have under our current deals, 90% of the value of our contracts are non-buybackable. So the vast majority of them either never had that clause in there, or they had the clause and it has now expired. So we do have two transactions, one in Brazil and one Australia, where they have a very limited timeline by which they can choose to buy back half of the contract. Right. If they do so, they have to pay us a healty profit for that. No, it's still good money. No, I saw that. I saw it was still good money. There's no doubt about that. I saw that it was good money. So what do you think right now about? So building a mine, we know, is billions of dollars. Then getting the ore out and basically squeezing, basically the gold out. What do you think that cost structure right now? What's happening with that cost structure? Well, candidly, it's going through the roof. So that's one area where investors have been burned by investing in mining in the past. Is mining companies who thought they were going to build a mine for $500 million.
Yes.
By the time they started digging, they realized it was going to be $1 billion, and by the time they finished building it, it was $2 billion.
Okay.
And so mining companies are losing a lot of money for investors, and I guess that's one of the reasons that Sandstorm and our streams offer a lot of protection to investors, because if we say we're getting 17% of someone's production and it costs them 3 times as much to build a mine, we still get 17% of production, and we don't have to dilute our shareholders to get it.
Yeah, no, and you're talking to a lot of listeners that know this pretty well, because when I was looking at one of you guys were doing a workshop, and it was great. He was saying, folks, you can go right over to, I'll get to that website, folks. It's sandstormgold.com. But there's a video on there that's pretty good, and what the guy was saying is that I called my father, and how many employees they have, and there's only one employee. And the folks listening, many of them know about Royal Gold. Royal Gold, folks, has 19 employees, and they take in millions. What is interesting here, Nolan, is that we actually were large owners of Silver Wheaton. And you're talking to a lot of people that to this day own Gold Corp for only $2.40. So, I've had Ian on quite a few times in the past, 10, 12 years. So it is an amazing business. You know what's amazing? It's amazing that more people didn't get into it, right? So why didn't more people get into it?
Yeah, well, when we started the business up 8 years ago, so I was the first employee at Silver Wheaton and was their chief financial officer for a number of years.
Okay.
And we had a real tough time convincing people to invest in the concept. They thought, there's got to be something they don't understand. It sounds too simple. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And Silver Wheaton has now grown into about a $13 billion market cap company, and Sandstorm is right behind it, just started it up, and we're already $1.2 billion, and we're going to keep growing.
Because you basically you're acting like a bank, but you're understanding the business at the same time, right? I mean, that's kind of how it works. And then, people in the mining business always need money. So, I mean, is that the basis of the business?
It is the basis of the business, and one of the shortfalls in the mining industry has been that a lot of mining companies take on debt. Debt only is for 5 years, and sometimes it takes you longer than 5 years to build your mine. So
yes.
You can't take on debt and expect to actually repay it by the time the term is up, whereas at Sandstorm, we give you money, and we get paid back over sometimes 50 years, and so we're a lot more patient, a lot more long-term money.
And when you look at the business, what jurisdictions do you like doing business in the best right now in the whole world?
Well, I like North and South America. I like Canada, the United States. Mexico is a fantastic country to operate in if you're in some of the safer jurisdictions. Brazil is still a very good country to operate in. There are a few countries in South America we won't go to, like Venezuela, Bolivia, etc. And then we like Australia quite a bit. There's a few odd countries in Europe that we like, but for the most part, Europe's a pretty tough place.
You know, it's going to be interesting here, too, because the Aussie dollar is finally breaking a little. And it's interesting, and I'm sure you go through this, the currency fluctuations is something that I'm sure you have to take into consideration, right? Because it seems like that's what, 10 years ago, no one was thinking of that. They were always thinking that the dollar was going to crash, but the reality is that it didn't crash, and these other currencies got so high that these gold companies couldn't make what they thought they were going to make.
Yeah, at Sandstorm, because we lock in the purchase price of the ounces denominated it in U.S. dollars, and we sell in U.S. dollars, our only concern with the currencies is ensuring that the mine itself doesn't become unprofitable because of currency fluctuations, so that it's down. But outside of that, we're big rooters of the Fed and them printing as much money as they can so that our purchase price continues to be $400 an ounce.
Yeah, it's sweet. There's no doubt. Well, listen, we appreciate you coming on. We're going to absolutely follow you. We got quite a few. We've got quite a few calls in last couple of years about your equity and your company, folks. It trades in New York under the symbol SAND. Trades in Toronto on SSL. The website is sandstormgold.com. Now, can we just talk a little bit about, you have that other company. When you go to sandstormgold.com, folks, you have another streaming company, too, that has copper, copper, gas. That's pretty cool. So that's kind of diversified, right?
Yeah, we launched a couple of years ago a smaller sister entity to Sandstorm Gold, and it's called Sandstorm Metals and Energy, and it's basically the exact same business model as Silver Wheaton, the same business model as Sandstorm Gold, except it does it in base metals and bulk commodities. So we've done palladium streams, we've done copper streams, we've done natural gas streams, and although it's a very small company, I think that in the end, it's going to end up being the bigger of the two.
Yeah, no, I think you really have something there, man. I went through every one of those mines, and I understand the concept, and I really do. Because the bottom line is that we know it's all about resources. There's no two ways, man. I mean, that's what it's about. Well, listen, Nolan, we really appreciate you being with us. You have a great day, safe day, and we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a great one. Have a safe one. It's Sandstorm Gold, folks, and you know it is amazing that more companies didn't basically go into the banking structure, because that's what that is all about. Your banking structure, you're getting them the money, but instead of cash back, folks, you're getting the stream. You're getting part of the business, and that part of the business, by the way, that is not the net bottom line. We should have brought that up. That's not. They're getting part of the top. It's the top line. Okay. You stay right there, folks. Tom O'Brien's here for then. We'll come right back.